Hi, and welcome to Module 1. In Module 1, we'll be covering 3 topics. Number 1, software installation. Number 2, code and editors. And number 3, we'll talk about Git. So let's go through these one by one. Software installation, number 1. You obviously can't develop a Ruby or Ruby on Rails application unless you have Ruby and Ruby on Rails installed. So we'll go through a process, and the process is different for Mac, Windows, and Linux. And we'll be covering all 3 of those operating systems one by one. Next, we'll cover coding editors. And I know a lot of developers are very passionate about their coding editors. And if you are a Vim or Emacs person who really likes using those editors, I probably won't be able to talk you out of it, which is fine, because every person should be using the editor of their choice, the one that they enjoy. Having said that, I'm going to show you some other editors available for your Ruby and Ruby on Rails development and how you could use those editors, and specifically the editor that I happen to like, which is called Sublime Text. Lastly, we'll cover Git. Git is a distributed version control system. Basically, it's a bunch of words, but what it means is that it lets you take snapshots of your code. So imagine yourself coding, you code something up, and it all works. So you want to take a snapshot of that particular code at that particular time. So imagine you code for a while, you take a snapshot, it all works, things are good. As you keep coding, maybe you introduce some errors into your program, and you want to go back to the last point where you know that things worked. And you're able to do that because that's what Git lets you do as a version control system. It used to be that Git was only used by developers. Things have changed, and now even web designers or even people who are not working in IT, for example, publishers or editors, use Git as well. Because everybody recognizes the value of being able to take a snapshot of your work and be able to come back to it at any given point. And actually, Rails encourages you to use Git, because as we're going to see, when you generate a Rails application, it generates a .gitignore file for you. So we see this drive that Rails sort of pushing you in the right direction to use a version control system, and specifically Git. Another reason to use Git is that at the end of a course, when we build our web application, we're actually going to use Git to deploy it to the cloud. The same way that you use Git to control your version locally, so as you code, you make a mistake, you're able to go back to the previous good version. When you deploy the application using Git, you could do the same thing. You could, if the application doesn't work anymore, you could roll back to a previous good version of your application that you know has worked. With that, I will see you in Module 1.